Hello and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. I am so happy you're here. I recently crashed a Awakened opportunity call and I recorded the whole thing for us to react to together. Now I did hit record and walk away from my computer, so I don't know what we are getting into. I am reacting to this with you for the first time as well. So if you're not familiar with Awakened, they are yet another wellness, multi-level marketing or network marketing company. They currently now have 3 products. For a while, they only had 1. Their first product was a weight loss pill called Zenith with a doctored study, by the way. I have done quite a few videos on them, so I will make sure to link the Awakened playlist that I have in the description below. They do also now have other products to supposedly help you with sleep and energy. In my opinion, it's all pseudoscience and placebos, but that's besides the point. I do also want to put a disclaimer before we get into the call. We are likely going to experience discussions that will trigger anything with disordered eating or body dysmorphia. So if those things affect you in any way, please protect your mental health and click out of this video. I am going to go ahead and link a playlist that I put together right up here so that you can go and check that playlist out. These are all videos that have to do with anti-MLM, anti-scam, or any controversial topics that do not involve any type of disclaimer around disordered eating or body dysmorphia. So you can be safe from that if it does affect you in any way. And with all of that said, let's get into this call.
Scott, co-host. And let me see if Lisa is on. She is our testimonial tonight. There she is. Wait till you see who our testimonial is tonight. I'm going to make you a co-host.
She just said who the testimonial is. She said, oh, Lisa is our testimonial. I have to make her co-host. You're going to be surprised who our testimonial is. Like, you just said it. If you're not familiar with Awakened at this point, Danielle, who is the individual talking right now, is the founder of the MLM. She's no longer like the president or anything. They have passed the presidential responsibility on to Justin Rose, who, if you're not familiar with him, he is the husband of Real Housewife of Salt Lake City, Whitney Rose. It's been a very interesting turn of events over the past few months with Awakened.
As well, Lisa, so that when it's time to unmute, you can. All right. Hi, Lori. Yeah, I gotta tell you, that headset is making the pounds come off faster. Let's all celebrate. It's pretty cool. I'm hearing some of the things though. You're gonna leave your plate 15%, of it on your plate. And then 2 nights ago, I'm sitting there and I went, I consciously heard that. In my conscious mind, I heard, you don't need to finish that. You're full. And I did not. And it was a really good brisket burger that is had some no bun on it, and I gave a little to the girls because it was grass fed. But so the dogs, not the girls, the little girls, the dogs. And I went, wow.
Nothing tastes as good as thin and healthy feels, though.
What? It's right.
Nothing tastes as good as thin and healthy feels. That's
exactly.
We're starting off with a lot of toxicity. Leave 15% of your food on your plate. First of all, that's wasteful. Secondly, if you want to eat it, eat it. Eat it. Why do we have to do this? They're going to get into whatever headset she's speaking of in a couple minutes. But then this doctor chimes in. He has a PhD after his name. I don't know what his PhD is in, but he chimes in and says nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And I've heard this before. And that's one of the most toxic things you can ever say, specifically because you're saying you have to be skinny. If you are healthy, that does not necessarily mean you are skinny. You can be fit, you can have a little extra fat on your body because that is the way that you were made, but you're healthy. And sometimes people will say like you're promoting the opposite of toxic diet culture, which is the not body acceptance, but like being okay with not being healthy in your life. And that's not the case. I'm just stating that body types are all different. And just because somebody is quote unquote skinny doesn't mean they are healthy or unhealthy. Or just because somebody is quote unquote fat does not mean that they are healthy or unhealthy. There's a lot more that goes into that. Anyway, Moving on.
Please, come on, let's at least tell everyone that using this over and over is really reprogramming all of us. And to be able to consciously hear that at dinner, my subconscious is taking it in, and now my conscious mind is telling me that I don't need that. And it's just accelerating the great results. So, all right, let me hit record. We'll record to the cloud.
Recording in progress.
And I am going to...
This will go away in a second. Like I said, I walked away, but I remembered that this popped up, so I ran over a couple minutes later and turned it off. So this recording thing will go away.
Introduce you. So can everyone see Dr. Porter, and we're good? You can hear? Okay. So welcome, everyone. My name is Danielle Mioli. I am one of the founders of Awakend, as well as the Chief Sales Officer. I've introduced a lot of products and sold a lot of things in my lifetime in my 30-year career. And I can honestly say that what Dr. Porter is about to share with all of you who are watching, some of you for the first time, is his life's work that was introduced back in '86. Dr. Patrick Porter is an entrepreneur, an author, best-selling author, but he also has a technology that has changed my life overnight and so many others. And now we're going to take this thing out to the globe, to the world. He's done a lot of that work already, but now Awakend has the blessing of doing so. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Dr. Porter.
All right, great. I'm gonna share the screen and we'll get started here. So I'm going to do, I've shortened this a little bit from last week, so hopefully we get through it in 20 minutes. Obviously a lot of you have seen some of this before, but what we're talking about is the awakened mind. We're talking about how can we wake up our mind, and we're talking about how can we get the mitochondria, how can we get our brain back energized so that that powerful affirmations you're using that we talked about at the beginning is actually working and activating for you. And the problem we have is that most people are running around in survivor mode. And when I talk about survivor mode, this causes something to happen. And I know one of the biggest things we do at Awaken is weight loss. So when you're in survivor mode, I'm going to show you a screen in a little bit that actually proves why stress is more fattening than chocolate. Because your liver has 25 grams of sugar in it all the time. It's there to protect you so that if you have a saber-toothed tiger or you have to flee from something, it instantly puts that in the bloodstream. Now, your bloodstream can only have 1 tablespoon of sugar at any one time. That's 5 tablespoons. So that means your body has to produce fat to store that sugar. Now, if you're constantly getting stressed out or you're living in the survivor mode, your body is either a sugar burner or a fat burner. And we want you to be a fat burner because that's what helps you to lose weight, and you get to tap into all that stored energy. To do that, we have to get you into the thriving brain. Now, some people are just in the thriving brain naturally because they're able to turn off that sympathetic drive and turn on their parasympathetic system. Because of my practice, I found that most people aren't able to do that. So when I invented the technology in the first place, it wasn't for weight loss. It was actually for pain control. But opioids just came on the market. So I'm proud to say that.
So these are all things that you would probably hear if you were in a professional position where you understand these specific terms and things like that. And I feel like they take advantage of this because they are speaking to people who are looking at the opportunity of joining Awakened in a way that they don't really understand it. Like the average person in the world is not going to understand all of the terms that he's using. So a lot of times MLMs will use these specific terms and this language to make it sound better than it is, for lack of a better term, and make it seem legit, which it's not always the case.
We'll probably talk about this at a later time, but in Brazil, I just returned a few weeks ago where we had 3 university studies prove that BrainTap, the Awakened Mind product, actually beat out opioids in 3 studies for fibromyalgia to reduce pain. So if some of you are feeling less pain, that's because the brain is the most powerful pharmacy on earth. And when you get into these deeper states of alpha and theta, which is where we're going, the brain naturally produces analgesia, which is the brain's natural painkiller. We do it naturally all the time. Now, as we look at, some of you have never seen BrainTap, so I thought I would do this earlier today. So imagine with me that you're about ready to put the headset on. Your eyes are closed. These lights are actually working with cranial nerve 2, not with the eyes. So your eyes are closed. But something called photobiomodulation is taking that light from the eyes, which actually houses the most mitochondria per square centimeter, and is absorbing it into the brain, because your eyes are not just attached to the brain, your eyes are actually brain matter. So when we do that, what happens is when a cell fills up with energy in the form of ATP, it then shares that energy to the next cell around it. So when we put the light in this way, and then we have a frequency, those eye lights, in just a moment, my next slide, I'm going to show you what we're doing with those lights. But if you saw at the very beginning, there was when I was bringing in, see the lights in the ears? That's actually using auricular therapy, or acupuncture, as a lot of people would call it, but we're using light to do it, because all the meridians in the body come through the ears. All the blood in your body goes through your ears every 3 to 4 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to fill up the lights with the light as the blood.
So this is the headset. I think I mentioned it in a recent video that I put up, but this is the headset that they introduced at the Awakend convention called Awakend Kickoff this past month. So a lot of the Awakened representatives, consultants, whatever they're called, they tried this and they were raving about it, like it made such a difference. I don't know if I believe it.
Going through the ears, there's hemoglobin in there that absorbs light. Then it goes directly from the ear into the brain. And that's what we can measure when we're measuring things on the neural check, which some of you experienced when we were in Charleston. Now, the science has been well founded. So when I went to India just a little while ago, a few years ago, Dr. Varun, who just informed me on the 25th of this month, I'm getting an award where I'm the researcher of the year in India, and they're renaming their neurocenter, BrainTap Neurocenter, because we revolutionized the way that they look at meditation, believe it or not, in India. Because he said to me, he goes, when I first met him, he says, "You're cheating. Why are you having people do this?" And I said, well, we didn't really think about it at first for meditation. We thought about it for pain control and for some other things, what we call biofeedback. But I said, "Varun, have you ever meditated to a candle?" And he said, "Yeah, all the time." I said, "Well, what a candle flickers at is 10 hertz frequency, just like the ocean." So some of you might think, wow, when I'm sitting by the ocean, I start to feel really relaxed and comfortable. That's because when you start to activate this alpha brainwave activity, or when you're around friends, let's say, when Einstein said, when you're around a beautiful woman for an hour, it seems like a minute. When you're sitting on a hot stove for a minute, it seems like an hour. It's because our brain processes time differently. In alpha, we release something called acetylcholine. This is what makes us feel good. So when we start to do that, it's going to help our mental health. When we're in that survivor brain, we actually stop the production of acetylcholine, and we produce more neuropinephrine, more of the stress hormones, and more dopamine. So we want to create the flow states, not the stress states. Now, a lot of people think meditation is going to the mountains and meditating. And what I asked Varun is, I said, "Have you ever noticed that all the gurus seem to go into the Himalayas and meditate?" I said, believe it or not, they're cheating. And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "There's a frequency in the mountains. It's 7.8 hertz frequency. In science, we call it the Schumann frequency. It's the frequency of the earth. So if you and I were on a spaceship moving toward Earth, we could measure the frequency of the planet from 0.5 to 100. Our brain also has an evoked potential, which means it responds to that frequency of 0.5 to 100. 100 being high gamma. Very few people ever get to that. They have had people in labs that are master meditators get there. But we do have sessions for gamma. We have sessions that are used a lot of times when people are trying to get think of gamma as your bass drum for the brain. So when we're doing dementia studies, or we're doing Alzheimer's studies, which, by the way, we had a dementia study where it's now in a bigger study down at Seminole College, but every person in our pilot study was off the dementia scale in 6 weeks. And we're doing a bigger study for that. And we're still finding with all the clinics that we have, we're sticking with the same thing, 6 weeks, 3 times a week. And people on the dementia scale are finding that they're no longer on that scale. Now, if you're doing the nutrition with it, you're going to get even better results, because we're doing this, when we do the studies, we can't use nutrition, because then they'll say it was the nutrition. We know nutrition works because, number one, you can't have a good brain without proper nutrition. Number two, we got to get the body moving and breathing. That's why, when you're at the events, you're doing yoga or Tai Chi or or dancing, whatever you're doing to breathe and move is really good for the nervous system. Unfortunately, most people hang around in the city. When you get into the busy cities, and we all know people that won't go into the mall. And if you know somebody like that won't go into the mall because it's too hectic, if you're demoing the Awakened Mind to them, I would use really low light at first, because their brain isn't used to having too much going on. In fact, I would just click the button one time if you own the equipment and you're demoing it with somebody. Somebody asked me that in an email, and I thought I should mention that tonight. Also, always use the demo program that we encoded for you, because that's going to be the best one to move them through the experience the first time. It's not too aggressive. It's more of an alpha training than it is a theta training. But as you train the brain, you'll want to go deeper into theta, and you'll want to have more lights typically. Now, we're really here because we found that for successful people in your industry, direct selling, everyone knows that the difference between the real producers and the people that can't get out of the driveway on Monday morning is it's in their mind. So when you think about the most expensive real estate that you have, it's that 6 inches between your ears. So it can create wealth or can take it away. It's been said that if we split up all the money on earth today, we'd all get about $3 million. And within 10 years, the 20% that have the money today would have it again, because they have a mindset to make and keep and retain money. So within the BrainTap system, I know by the end of this week, I think early next week, you're going to have access to my business.
So is this a brainwashing tactic that we're now using in MLM? Because holy it sounds like a lot of people are like wanting to purchase this. And if you remember back when they put Zenith out in the beginning, like last year at some point, whenever it was like they did all this hype, and then you couldn't order the Zenith yet. Like you couldn't order it. It wasn't a thing. So I'm wondering if they're doing the same thing with this friggin' Mind Tab, because people are like, I really want to get mine by the end of May. And the same thing with the Uplift. So Uplift is one of their new products that is supposed to be something that gives you energy. I wonder if that's the case with these things.
Programs that are in there. I have 17 sessions for Think and Grow Rich. I have 43 different business books that are my favorite, like the secret to having money is to have some, or the power of thinking big, and all the books you can think of that people have told you to read over the years. As a Man Thinketh, that was one that I had to read when I was a child, when I got in trouble. So you just have to think about all these books are there to expand your brain and your awareness. But the biggest thing is, how do we keep energy in the brain? And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the Awakened Mind. Now, I'm not just saying it because I produced this product. We actually did a research project about it. We took the top producers at Google, Microsoft, and these were engineers. So they're not always the best to teach to relax. You know, they're very logical, very linear people. So we broke it down. They did a series and this will be available too. This whole series will be available to all of you as part of our offering. Julie Arnn is a peak performance specialist, and she was already getting phenomenal results. So we had to prove to her that when she added the Awakened Mind or the BrainTap to the program, how it would reduce. The one thing that I was really blown away is the number one thing here: depression reduced by 71%. We didn't tell these people in the study what was going on, because if we would have told them beforehand, they wouldn't have believed us.
We're going to promote this, that it cures depression, reduces depression. We see this a lot with Amari, which is another MLM that focuses on mental health, and they promote that you can get off of your antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications, and that is extremely problematic. A lot of times people will take this information and believe it, which at no fault of their own, but just in a way of wanting to feel normal. I suffer from depression, and it's significant. And I always tell my husband, like, I just want to be normal. I want to feel normal. And I know that people in that situation will take this information and run with it. And a lot of times they will experiment with going off of their medication that has been effectively working for them, and almost experience I'm not a medical professional, but this is what I've experienced myself and what I have witnessed in other people in my life that have gone through this situation, they'll come off of their medications and have like this extreme high of like almost like a euphoria, where they think that whatever they're doing, whatever this headset is doing or the happy juice is doing, has cured them, and they no longer have to take the medication, and they feel, I don't know, it's almost like a placebo effect, in my opinion, because it eventually will backfire on specific individuals. Not for everybody, but I just hate seeing this.
Didn't know they were depressed. These were the high achievers. These were the 1%ers of their industry. So they were so busy being busy on their job, they didn't realize that they were losing. And the reason we did this study, by the way, was burnout. Right now, there's a mass exodus out of these tech companies because they're getting burned out. You know, when you're in the stress, you think that's normal. So we reduced their stress by 45%. We increased their quality of sleep to 48%. And we used a gadget that you wear on your wrist, similar to what I have on here. This is not a watch. It's called a no watch. It actually monitors all my vitals. And if I get stressed out, I just click it, and then I can put that stress into it'll tell me what was going on, and it creates an algorithm for me and tells me when I should do a relaxation session. It's something I'm playing with right now. But we gave it to them to use. And then
somebody just said in the chat, my friend suffers from anxiety and depression, and I have done it on her, and she feels amazing. God, I hate this.
And but the big thing too was they were 26% increase in performance. That's almost impossible to take an A student. This is a double A student. These are the best of the best. And they improve in Google and Microsoft, they measure every keystroke. So these guys don't get a day off. They don't get a minute off. And the one thing that changed, we did a quality of life score index. They were 41% more positive. This is important because those people that look at life as a series of challenges are more positive than those people that look at life as a series of threats. They become more negative, and it also helps what we call psychoimmunology to help you to become more productive in your life. Now, I wanted to show you when for those that weren't here last week, and this might be the last time I show these slides, but when we met Ashley and Rodney, I went down. I was in California. I drove down to their place in near San Diego, and we did a scan with them. And you can see she's pretty good shape right away. You know, she's 32 years old. She showed up as a 29-year-old. After the BrainTap, she showed up as a 25-year-old. The harmonization is her heart rate variability. That means how quickly does her body respond to stress. She's already in good shape. She probably wouldn't be one of the founding members if she wasn't able to handle stress. So
she probably wouldn't be a founding member if she wasn't able to handle stress, because this has been a show since they started.
She was able to do that, but she took it all the way up to 99. What I told her was, if you can listen to a BrainTap session at least once a day before the conference, that 99% is going to be your baseline when you show up. So what happened? This was after an airplane. I didn't want to test her when she just got off the airplane, but Paul did it, and it was still 96. And those were at the event, saw some of my scores. When I got off the airplane, I was looking pretty bad. Mine went all the way down to 13. So for hers to maintain a 96 after flying across the country, that's pretty impressive. And so these are the way that the brain works. So when you think about the brain and what it does, now this index shows us when people say to you, I don't eat sugar, I don't know why I'm not losing weight, it's because they're stressed. You can see the metabolism down here, the energy pyramid. And Ashley is not overweight at all. Her metabolism is 235. She's bringing in 110 units of energy, burning 125. That's a fat burning machine. But you can see she took it from 235 to 383 because that's what stress is like, a governor on the metabolic system. When I was featured in People magazine way back in 2006, we had sent them over 1,000 people that had lost half their weight and kept it off for more than 5 years. So what we can do is we tell people it's not always what you eat, it's what's eating you. Now, when you add in the great supplements like you have, it's just going to accelerate the process. If you're stressed out and you're taking those good supplements, you're not going to get the same benefit. You'll still get a benefit because supplementation will help. But when you do the BrainTap or you do some kind of stress reduction, you've turned on the parasympathetic. There's a reason they call it the rest, digest, and recover state. So when you're in that state, you can do better. And you can see she came back, her neurohormonal. This This is mental fitness we're talking about up here. She was already good. A 73 is good. Anything over a 50 is good. Usually clients that come into the clinic are about a 13, just to give you an idea. So she took it up to 96 and kept there. When she stepped off the airplane, she was 370 units of energy. She's basically cranked it up to be a fat burning machine. Now, we don't just do weight loss, obviously, because there's a lot of people out there that wonder, what can we do for things like dementia or TBIs or things like that? So this study is now in a group of 12 people in the NFL to do a neuroprotective study. They're doing the same thing, but we took Dr. Arkefeld, who's a doctor who works in Gaylord, Michigan. He took everyone in the high school that had a head injury during the year. 50% they all got treatment. 50% of them got BrainTap at the end. And then when they went back to play, which means the doctor said, hey, you're cleared to play. They went back to play. A year from that date, we went back in and we did all the neurological testing. And what we found was that there was a 30 to 70% neurological improvement with the group that used BrainTap over the people that just walked out of the office and left. So we did this study to show that recovery is key. Stress is bad, but if you don't recover from stress, the brain never disengages and you never stop. Again, as long as you're a sugar burner, and that stress is part of that sugar burner, your body can't heal. Your brain is water and fat. That's really all it is. So if you feed it the wrong, basically, materials, it will burn out. So it's a really strong study, and all these studies are available to you. We actually have a book online on Amazon that you can buy with all of our studies in it. We have over 17 studies in there, and we're adding.
It's interesting that they put a book together. I don't know if that's something that like a lot of companies do. I'm not aware. I'm ignorant to it. But I don't know if I would trust a book full of studies on one thing that is put out and published by the company or the individual that has created that said thing. I am not familiar with these studies. I have not, like I said, this is the first time I'm watching this, so I didn't know that they were going to be going over specific studies. I would encourage anybody who's looking at something like this, which it can be helpful. I'm not saying that it can't be. But I just encourage people who are looking into something like this to do as much due diligence as possible to look up the studies that are not published by these individuals who are putting out the product and really make sure that it is something that is going to provide the results that they're saying that it's going to provide. I hate when they put out studies that they backed, that they have published. Like, that is very one-sided. I like to see studies that are done outside of the studies that are backed by these people, if that makes sense. I think I'm rambling now. We're just going to move on.
6 more. And as we're sitting here today, we have 12 studies going on in the background, because it seems like every time we do a study with the university, they want another one. We've just, and we don't have to pay for it. The nice thing is that these universities are getting grant money and doing these studies all on their own. We're starting one in Brazil right now. They're putting together the team, and they're going to do one on Parkinson's, because we've had really good results with Parkinson's, but we don't have a statistical study done. But we will have that done. Probably it'll take 6 months to a year, but we're working on that. Now, when you think about sleep, and I know one of your supplements that you're either going to have or have right now is going to help sleep. Sleep is going to help your friends, your family. They're going to thank you the most, because you're going to help them sleep. You know, when you look around at the people on the call today, 1 in 3 are sleeping. The other 2 aren't. So if you're the one sleeping, you should smile. And those that aren't, you should be, figuring out what you can do, because sleep is so key to heal the brain. But in 2016 in Scientific American, when I put it here, you can look this up on the internet and share it. It's a article that you can find on there on page 45. It talks about something called the glial lymphomic system. And what it says is, if you don't reach level 4 sleep, your brain never detoxes. And this is important for all of our family and friends that are going through long COVID or that aren't sleeping right now. If we don't clear out the toxins, we can't start the healing process. So this is where the Awakened Mind comes in, getting people to sleep deeply, because we have sessions that drop people off into Delta and put them to sleep. So we have 10-minute sessions in the morning to wake up your brain. We call it digital coffee. And then we have sessions in the middle of the day that we call a reboot, that reboot the brain. And then we have sessions in the evening right before sleep. We call it Sleep RX. And that app actually in 2022 got the best app of the year at the Consumer Electronics Show. So people find it's very good to use. So this is my last slide. I just want to show you, these are the universities as we're sitting here today that are doing studies with BrainTap. And this summary of brain fitness research featuring BrainTap technology, that's what you can find on Amazon for like $11. That's the technology we're sharing. And we made it available as a book so that people could show them a book doing it, and then it protects us in several different ways, because it's not only research, but it's actually published. So we have certain rights when we use that. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Danielle, so you can continue the conversation.
Thank you so much.
I'm curious as to how many people like are on this opportunity call for the actual opportunity, because a lot of the chat is just people who are already in Awakened. And I know that like when MLMs have opportunity calls, that they encourage the current consultants and reps to be there. So it's interesting that I haven't seen anybody like really ask questions in the chat from the standpoint of being somebody who's interested in the opportunity of joining Awakened. So weird.
That was amazing. I know there's so many questions you guys have, and so much that we're going to be sharing with you as the months and the weeks and months go on, as we learn and disseminate more information out to the world about Awakend Mind, aka BrainTap. I know we're all still getting used to the words, but in my mind, what matters most is we're going to be making and changing a lot of lives. We're going to be making a lot of shifts in people's lives, and it's our job to be the mouthpiece. What I do want to say as a disclaimer, you've heard a ton of talk about diseases, illnesses, and things that in the direct selling world, we are not allowed to make claims. Dr. Porter is able to share data from studies, but as a field, you guys cannot go post about dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. You can't say, who has Parkinson's? Buy a headset. You can't do that. I'm going to be very clear. You want to protect not only the company, but this amazing technology we're bringing out. We will give you all the words. Right now, your words to use or your word track would be brain fitness, helping people get better balance, getting their brain to be working better, their body working better. And we all know one part of your body, ever strain a muscle and realize, wow, without it, my whole body doesn't feel right. It's the same thing. We need to make sure, though, that we're protecting how we present this to the world. But the studies excite me. I know Dr. Porter has a lot more studies. Go get the book. You can read it. You can reference it, but you can't make medical claims. So please be careful on that.
That's something to always keep in mind. If you see Awakened reps out there saying these specific things, like making claims that it can reduce depression, reduce anxiety, cure anything, report that post, please. That is extremely problematic and means for somebody to face repercussions for posting those things for financial benefit. Little side note there.
I'm going to jump into my slides to close out, and I am going to share screen. However, and make sure I have the slides up. So this one looks like my PowerPoint here, and I will, you guys can see that, right? From beginning, let's see. We're good. Renee, I can see you. Yep, perfect. So for those of you who just joined us and you're learning about everything with the Awakened Mind headset powered by BrainTap, there's so much more to know. And we know that this was just a little bit of a taste for you, a wonderful overview by Dr. Patrick Porter. However, the company Awakened was birthed really out of a love for helping people wake up. There is an inherent power that we hold in our bodies as human beings that God gave us, and that most of us never tap into. I'm just learning at 48 years old how to tap into that amazing pharmacy, right? That our brain is. And I was listening to a session this morning that said there were 30,000 different, Dr. Porter, I want to say it wrong, 30,000 different neurochemicals
that our brain makes. But just a thought.
And I'm listening to it going, wow, like these are things that I'm learning, right? It's all about learning and applying knowledge and then getting it to help us shift our health. And so Awakened is really birthed on and founded on principles of health, self, and wealth. But the health and self are how you create wealth. I want to make sure you understand. Is it wonderful to become a member and help us brand the company and take it globally and get our products out to the world? Sure. Can you potentially make a side income with us? Absolutely. Can we tell you how much? No. You never know what you can do with this. I've been able to do a lot in my 13-year career in direct sales. However, the health and the self, if you focus on our product line and how extremely powerful the products and technology is, partnered with the self, which is our Awakened Mind trainings and our Awakened Body classes that are all included, you can really do something special. We have doctors from all over that are really excited about what we have here. And it is really exciting to be able to share with you that as an 8-month-old, 9-month-old company, we've got some really phenomenal MDs, NDs, surgeons, ER doctors, functional medicine doctors, hormone doctors partnered with us, and we're super proud.
When she says we have doctors from all over, what she means is they have recruited a bunch of doctors in this MLM. And I will say that if you ever come across a doctor, I've said this in a previous video, if you ever come across a doctor that is trying to push an MLM product on you or an MLM opportunity on you, run the other way. That is unethical for them to be doing. That means that they are profiting off of you specifically, not your insurance. Your insurance will never cover that. So just be aware of that. And if they try to push any type of MLM product on you where it is costing you money to join or use the product, please run the other way. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Zenith is our flagship product that we launched with. It's based on an 8-week clinical at UConn, which is, I'm in Connecticut. UConn's where it was done.
I hate that it was done at UConn. I'm born and raised in Connecticut. It's one of the only good things we have. Can we stop mentioning UConn in this MLM? Thank you.
And on average, 21.3 pounds of fat was lost during those 8 weeks in that clinical study with those participants. The placebo group lost literally half of what the group did that was on the Zenith. They all walked daily in the lab, and they all were on a calorie-controlled, healthy diet, which means they dropped their daily calories from what it was down 500 calories.
I don't know if she means down to 500 calories or down 500 calories less from what they were eating. In any sense, that feels extreme, unless they were eating like 3,000 calories a day. Also, that study was doctored.
That means take out, that bad morning cereal, or that stop going to Starbucks for that 600 calorie latte that's full of sugar. So it wasn't a massive drop in calories, and it was not a ton of working out. And yet Zenith, because of its amazing formula that is patented, it was able to help the 2 fat signaling hormones in our bodies to actually lower leptin, which is what makes you stay fat, and your body keeps hearing store fat, right? It's a switch. And it helps increase adiponectin, which is the amazing fat signaling hormone that helps you put on muscle. So it raised it by 116%, the adiponectin, lowered the leptin. That means they started to become very balanced naturally with a blend of cetylated fatty acids, non-fermentable viscous plant fibers, say that 3 times fast, as well as a little bit of calcium carbonate. And it's our blend. No one else has it. We're really excited about it. These are real people in our company who are losing so much fat and putting on muscle. We're super proud.
Somebody had to remind her to change the slides because she's on like the 6th slide and she hasn't changed the slide at all.
Using the headset along with it, put it in the chat if you've actually seen an increase in your fat release now that you're using Zenith paired with the amazing programs that are dialed into the Awakened Mind headset. Scott and I personally are seeing even better results. Heather, down 30 pounds. It was so good to see her in Charleston. Christine, everybody is melting away, but add the headset. In some cases, some of these people haven't used the headset, so I won't make that claim. But we have tons of people saying that now that their stress levels come down and their nervous system's starting to balance out and their liver's not, as Dr. Porter said, releasing all that sugar into the bloodstream, it's really making the difference. It's giving me one heck of an edge in so many people. Awakened Uplift. So if I have Lisa Varga, Lisa, can you please unmute? I'm sure you probably already have your camera on. I'm going to introduce Lisa because Awakened Uplift and Awakened Unwind, which is our newest offering, this is our nootropic formula, guys. Has a hero ingredient called paraxanthine. Nobody else has it but us. No one has this blend globally. It's exclusively ours, and it is an amazing product. We will be shipping this on or before May 31st. It's looking very good that it'll ship on or before the 31st of this month.
Oh, yep. So they don't even have a secure ship date yet. So it's just like Zenith. Like, why are we not learning from our past mistakes here?
Earlier, you guys asked about the headsets. If you have ordered Uplift, everything is being held until Uplift's in, and then your Unwind, your Uplift, and your headsets will ship at the same time. If you only ordered Unwind or Unwind with a headset, those will start shipping in the next few days, and you'll hear about that. If you're in Canada, we will keep you posted. Very, very soon, we will know about the duties in Canada. It's looking like we are very close to shipping in Canada in the next, I don't know, few days or so, business days-ish. Yes, my husband's saying very close. So Lisa, if you're on, please just let me know you're there.
Yep, I'm here.
All right, let me tell you guys who Lisa is. So Lisa is actually an actress. She's a host. She's a producer, a writer, a philanthropist. She has her own production company. She's going to be starring in a movie this fall. Congratulations. That's exciting.
Do we see a trend with Awakened going for the people with big names? So they're going for the doctors because they have doctor in front of their name. They're going for the higher profile people. For another example, the president is a Bravo celebrity, quote unquote. Now, I am a big fan of Bravo. I watch Vanderpump. I watch all of the Housewives. I watch it all. So I know who the president is. But it's interesting to see that they keep going after these higher profile people instead of, like, I don't know, actual credible people.
She has a health and wellness series that she's currently producing. And I was introduced to her through my good friend, Tina Raines, who I adore. As many of you know, she's one of our top leaders. And Lisa was someone who had a great result on some of our products. And so, Lisa, if you want to just share from the heart and let everyone know what it's been like for you. I know you're new to the Uplift and Unwind and Zenith.
Yeah, no, I'm very new. And our mutual friend, Tina, had sent me a sample. She was telling me about this brand new product. And before I can recommend anything to anybody, I have to try it myself and I have to know that it works. And so I said to Tina, do you have anything you could send me? And I think she took out of her own private stash because you guys got samples. And I have to thank her for sending me. She gave me 2. So I took one the first day and it was honestly unbelievable because I am taking something right now that is supposed to be for mood boosting and gives me lots of energy because my schedule is so crazy. Like I have to have energy. I'm 52. My hormones are off the charts. And I need something. So what I was taking had so much caffeine in it to give me the energy. I felt awful. I felt good, but yet I was so jittery and it just had a lot of really bad effects too. But I didn't want to take that away because there were parts of it I loved. So when I tried the Uplift, it gave me 10 times more energy, boosted my mood. It just made me feel great, but it didn't give me like that caffeine, jitters that I needed for the energy. The only way that I could explain it, and I said to Tina, was they're happy pills. I don't know what else to tell people except like the whole entire day I was on just like this even keel and I was happy. And I thought, okay, what kind of drug is this? And can I take like 10 of them a day? But I only had one and I wanted to try it a second day to find out, was this a fluke thing? Is it all in my mind? Did this really work? So feeling amazing the first day, I was like, okay, well, let me try it the second day. Second day, same thing. I can't tell you like how good it made me feel. And not only did it uplift my spirits, I felt like I was like walking in this, I know it sounds so corny and this is not a sales pitch because you guys probably have all tried it and you know what I'm talking about, but you feel like you're walking on the cloud and you're like, hi everybody. And you're just nice and you're smiling and the whole world is great. And I thought every single person on the planet needs to be on this or try this because just those 2 days that I tried it. And I think you could take more than one a day. I said to Tina, I go, what would it be like if you took 2 a day? How happy would you be then? But what I loved was just the combination of the energy, the clarity too. Like I had like more mental focus, and it just did so many things without that jittery caffeine buzz that I had, with the other supplements I was taking. So I swear by this, and I cannot wait to get my whole bottle, and I'll share it with people too. But I'm going to just order more and more. And this is going to be the one thing that I really like push, to all of my friends and family and anyone, because I am in health and wellness, and everyone's always asking me, what's the newest thing? What are you taking? What are you doing to, keep going the way that you do? And this will be my number one go-to that I tell everybody about. I am in love with it. So I can't wait to get my bottle.
Tell me a little bit. Did you also, you were, and I apologize, someone was texting that the slides weren't moving. You guys can see the slides, right? You see unwind? We're good. Okay. So Lisa, you used...
So the slides still haven't moved, but I also want to point something out that she mentioned that they're the only ones that have the paraxanthine. They're the only ones with paraxanthine. She very quietly said blend, because they're not the only product with paraxanthine, with access to paraxanthine. There are products that I found on Amazon that have paraxanthine in them and not a paraxanthine blend. That was just a sketchy, slimy plug that she made there that I wanted to point out.
It was the uplift that you were speaking of, and then unwind as well?
I tried a little bit of the unwind. I don't know that I got like the best sample of it.
Full effect, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I need to experiment with that a little bit more. But the one thing I'll say, I did try that, and it was the most bizarre. The only way I could explain it is I saw flashing in my dreams, and it was almost surreal. Like I was in a dream and I knew I was sleeping, but yet I also could see that there were these flashing lights. I slept for about 2 hours, and I felt like I had slept 10 hours. It was weird. And I thought, what the heck? I looked at my clock, and it was only 2 hours later. And I thought,
it's really exciting to see that unwind is helping people get into that deeper sleep where really, truly all of your restoration, right? And your rebuilding and cellular repair happens. And so thank you for that, Lisa, because I know you're fairly new to Awakened, but I wanted you guys to hear from someone, because a lot of you are waiting for uplift, and now we've got unwind hitting the market as well. We have a lot of people on here, so put it in the comments if you've used it and you love it. But unwind is hands down, as someone who's in perimenopause, even though I'm very balanced hormonally, because I go to a functional medicine doctor, the sleep I'm getting now, Scott and I have 6 children combined, 2 dogs, and a multi-million-dollar business building all over the North America with you guys. We have a very busy life. We travel. Sleep gets disrupted a lot. You guys have my personal cell phone, most of you, and you know that you use it well. So I'm one of those people that sleep has been elusive to me for a long time. And I recognize now that not only does the headset with the unwind, the headset with the uplift, the two together are really bringing me to the next level. And I want to make sure you understand that the Awakened Mind headset is phenomenal alone, but pair it with our products and programs, and it's next level. It's absolutely incredible. This is a nano technology that you can't beat it. People are getting into sleep in 5 and 10 minutes. So please give that a try. That's just hitting the market now. Obviously, this is the BrainTap. We will be branding it a little bit more to Awaken, but I just absolutely am in love with it. And it's the biggest blessing.
She's totally ignoring everyone in the chat that's saying that the slides have not advanced at all.
That's hit my life in a long time, and I'm really committed to us taking this all over the world, including into Asia, which is where we're headed next.
They're expanding globally.
Become a member, there's lots of benefits to joining Awaken. We wanted to make sure you get the classes, the nourishment, the mindset, the programs. We wanted so much added value that whether you ever bought from us or not, if you just became a member and you became just an enhanced human being and you feel like your life's better in Awaken, that is our true exciting part about being a company. What's the matter?
They're saying they're not moving.
Everyone's saying my slides are not moving. You guys aren't seeing the membership slides?
No, ma'am, we're not.
Literally moving. They're literally moving. Do you see the momentum slide? Hold on. New share. I mean, I'll do it again, but they're all there, guys. I don't know. Want me to try it again? How about that?
It's your fault, guys. It's your fault. I don't know what to tell you.
Now we're seeing it.
Oh, now they're all saying it's there, but
How convenient it lands on this slide. Awakened is still ground floor opportunity. Get in before the S-curve goes up.
it was there the whole time for me. Okay.
So we're good?
So I feel bad. I'm just going to go back quick and let you see what you missed. Uplift. Unwind. Aren't they pretty? We like pretty things. The BrainTap, which is the Awakened Mind headset. Love it. Membership benefits. All these slides are available, so I apologize if you didn't get to see them. We have these in a slide deck for anyone. We are in concentration, headed into growth. What a great place to be in a company. Before the masses know about it, it's always the place to be. Perfect timing, but if you sit there and do nothing, the timing means nothing. So I always like to throw that in. You're blessed to be in early, but don't squander it. You need to actually get up and go out and tell the world about how you feel about the products, the technology, and our amazing pillars. There's 6 ways to earn. I always tell you, listen, we've paid out over 11 million in commissions, and that's wonderful. So we do pay. But what matters more is that you go out and change some lives. And as people's lives are changed, your business will grow. People want to know that products work and that they're going to have a great result, and then they're willing to buy, right? So it's not about selling. It's about giving them something that they can really see value in. We have our digital collectibles. These are our founding members packs that are going bye-bye very soon.
They still have these founding members packs with the f***ing digital collectibles. I think they said at some point that they were gone. Oh, they just keep bringing back cash grabs. It's so gross.
There was a discussion today. We might even be getting rid of the Zenith ones and just giving you the combo packs. Stay tuned on that, but these will be gone soon. Incredible value to come in at this level, but that is not the way that you have to come in. You can participate in Awakened as a customer, which we love. There's preferred customer pricing, retail customer pricing. The person who brought you on can share that with you. But we do have starter packs if you want to do what I did 13 years ago and join the network marketing industry and build something of value over time that you can be really proud of. And so we have a new starter pack coming this week, new founders packs, but there's such great packs available right now for you to get in and get participating in building the business. So just a quick overview there. And what I will say, as customers, we want you to know that regardless of whether you want to build a business or not, if you just become a customer, we want to make sure that you're supported. So we have a community where you can get support.
The lowest starter pack is $260, which saves you $10. What the
It's called Z Community. Make sure that the person who signs you up puts you in that community so you can get all the support so that we can get you to your health goals. Because really, truly, it does take a community of knowledge and great people to cheer each other on as we all work to rebuild our health and really get to a great place in life. So Dr. Porter, thank you for being on. Lisa Varga, thank you for being on. I will make sure that next week it's going to be 8:30 Eastern. I will make sure it is posted correctly next week at 8:30 Eastern. It will be our shorter version. Dr. Porter will not be joining us next week, but we will have a presentation every Tuesday night. And I hope you take this recording and share it with the world because we have something super special. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Oh, I'm sharing it with the world. The YouTube world, to expose you for what you are. Awakened is just getting more and more toxic. Make sure you stay away from Awakened. They will often try and promote their products without telling you what it is at the direction of the head of the company, which is Danielle. Be aware of that. Don't fall for this. Thanks for hanging out with me while I talked a bunch. See you in the next one.